right, so this is Mark from Periphery, and I'm here today to talk about the Seymour Duncan Dark Sun. It's a pedal that we've just finished in the last couple of weeks and have had ready just in time for NAMM. And it's been an ongoing project for about the past year and a half. The idea started actually years ago when I had a realization that I rarely ever played through a delay without a reverb, and vice versa. Every time I used a reverb as well, I always incorporated some kind of delay, be it subtle or be it really sort of heavy. I always used the two in conjunction with one another. And it came around the time I got a prototype pedal of the Seymour Duncan Silver Lake, which was the reverb pedal that they used, that they put out about a year ago. They sent me a prototype version of it, and I said to them, what if we incorporated a delay with the reverb? They said, well, we don't have a pedal like that. And I said, would you want to design something new? And that was where the process began. Us working together on what became the Dark Sun. And yeah, it's supposed to be a sort of catch-all delay reverb pedal with some really interesting routing options. So it has a delay going into a reverb, which is the signal path that I like. That's how I've always played. Delay into reverb. But I met a lot of musicians who liked a reverb into a delay, so we incorporated the ability to switch up the signal paths. And you'll hear it, it's not something I knew before, but you'll hear that it impacts the sound in a pretty dramatic way. So with one flick of the switch, you can change the sound pretty dramatically as the signal path is completely reversed. You're not going to be able to hear it in this scenario, but you can also have it so if you're running stereo, you're running the pedal stereo, you can assign effects to go out side by side. So you can run a delay to the left, you can run a reverb to the right, and vice versa. You can run a reverb to the left, delay to the right. So there's some routing options that I've personally never seen in another delay reverb pedal. They may exist, I just may be too ignorant to know about it. But for me, that was a really cool thing that the designers implemented halfway through the process. And yeah, it's just got a really, really tasteful reverb to it. And you'll see basically it's controlled by this one reverb or room size in the reverb section, but the character changes pretty dramatically as you increase the room size. So it's not only the room size that's increasing, the character changes pretty dramatically. So that's the maximum room size on it. And I have the mix at about 9 o'clock. So you can get pretty heavy with the reverb. And anytime you want, you see the two independent mix knobs, you can back off completely. Let's say you don't want any delay whatsoever, you can back off. Just have it be reverb. I actually have been messing with this where I turn the reverb completely off or have it at maybe like a really negligible amount. So it functions more as a delay pedal. But as you can see, it's pretty easy to just cut one of the aspects off and have it service just as a reverb pedal or just as a delay pedal. But the magic of it is where you combine both. And then you start experimenting with the different types of delay modes here. So we have a pattern reverb here, pattern delay. But again, you have the different sections here, whole note, quarter note, then you have reverse ping pong and then a reverse ping pong. So it allows you some different types of delays to play with. But yeah, the pedal was mainly just to be this sort of idea generator, something you can sit down late at night and plug in and write with. And that's what it's been for me, a writing companion, something that I plug in and I feel creative because of all the flexibility that's presented to you. So I couldn't be happier with it from that perspective. Also, I play in a metal band. I play in Periphery. It's loud, it's aggressive, 6 and 7 and 8 string guitars. So I need a pedal to be able to cut through. And you'll see here, there's these controls that allow you to do just that. Sort of this left lane I think of as that. So low pass filter, a high pass filter, which is vital if you want to cut through a really chaotic mix. Going pretty heavy on the high pass filter. You see this tweak knob controls all 6 of these functions. But if you go high in the high pass, you can cut through a metal mix. And this, most importantly out of those, saturation. So you can add saturation to your tone if you're not cutting through, if you have one or two other guitar players with a lot of gain, it can cut through pretty efficiently. So yeah, that's the Dark Sun. Spend a lot of time with it. If you get your hands on one, you're not going to learn it in a minute. In fact, it can be pretty daunting taking a look at it for the first time, but it rewards you. The more time you spend with it, it rewards you. Don't get me wrong, it sounds great out of the box, but it's definitely one of those things you want to give a fair shot. NAMM is crazy to try this stuff out at because I can't hear myself talk, but if you manage to get it in an environment where you can experiment, that's where you can run with it. So I hope you enjoy it.